to Not Suitable for Adults. We're hosting a podcast, and it's on our own website.
That's true.
If you're just joining us for the first time, though, it's a podcast where we talk about children's shows, but we're talking about whether we like them or not for us.
Yes.
And I'm Rich.
I have nothing to add to that. I'm Natalie.
And we're going to kick things off with a show we've been watching lately. And it's mostly for us, I would say. But it turns out that Cora likes to sit and watch it with us.
This is the third time we're watching this through, I think.
I think that's right. It's a series we like a lot as grown-ups.
We love it. And it's animated.
And you can find it on... We watch it on Amazon. We've had to purchase it on Amazon. Having to purchase the things you like.
Pay money for things. Why can't everything just be free?
Free like Disney Plus. Oh, wait. Free like Netflix. Wait. Anyway.
My grandpa says, nothing's free but the air you breathe. There you go.
That's lovely. The show is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mm-hmm. And it's so good.
It's the show, people, not the movie.
Right. This is not M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender.
And it's also not the Avatar movie.
Right. It's also not Avatar the movie.
The Blue People movie. It's not that.
Both of those things notably live action. This is a children's show that was originally aired on Nickelodeon and is now widely loved by everyone that I know who has talked about it. I've never heard someone say, Avatar, wah.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is set in a world where there's sort of this magical-ish system where people are born into the world with the ability to what they call bend or manipulate the elements. And so there are those who can wield fire and water and earth and air.
Yes.
And for thousands of years, these people lived in harmony. And then one day,
the Fire Nation.
The Fire Nation decided, you know what? No.
We be the best.
We're the best, and we think we can prove it.
Why? Okay. Why is it always fire that's the evil?
It's a good... I mean, that's fair.
I mean, out of the four... air, water, earth, and fire. If you were to just ask a random person on the street that knows nothing about Avatar, and you would say, which out of the four do you think is evil? They would say fire. I mean, it's always fire.
Yeah. I think, like, the idea of like, hell and things like that are sort of burned into our... are kind of burned into our mythos, even as a culture. So, like, even if you're not religious, you sort of associate that with bad things.
And air, in my brain at least, automatically goes to the good guys. And they are in this. I mean, some of them are questionable, but overall, they're the good guys, the air and the water people. And that's just something that automatically comes to my mind. And I'm like, why? Because you get a lot of water, that could kill you.
Sure.
You get a lot of air. Yeah.
Too much earth?
Watch out. Earth. Crush you. Crush you.
Anyway, the Fire Nation decided we're going to take over the world. And the way they do that, so we've set the scene. There's this person who's like the one in like the Matrix. This is a person who's born on a known cycle they're born into one of these different nations and has
And it rotates.
yeah, and it rotates on a regular cycle. And so they are born into one of these and they're naturally good at bending the thing that they're born into, but then they have the ability to learn how to bend everything. And they're called the Avatar.
Yes. So people that can bend usually can only bend one of the four things.
Right.
The Avatar can bend all four things and is supposed to be the peacemaker of the nations, of the four groups.
Right. And also sort of between people and the spiritual world, which is kind of, there's a connection somehow between the spiritual world and bending. Anyway, it's a very cool show. It ticks all the boxes for like action adventure and also just sort of goofy cartoon.
It is super cute. It's a very cute show, but it's not cute like baby cute. It's quirky.
Right.
I laugh at almost every single episode the way they animate these characters to their reactions, or it's mostly their reactions. I feel like if you're watching one character talk, the other characters in the background are reacting, and it is usually a funny reaction to me.
Sure. I would agree with that. And it's interesting. So the animation style is sort of an anime thing. And that's what a lot of that is. Like, the things you're describing are pretty common things in when you're watching anime.
No, I'm just asking him something. What?
Daddy,
What?
I got my goofy spoon in the sink and got my jello bowl into the trash can.
Good
Great.
job. Go watch your show, please.
Thank you for doing that.
Good work.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Please be safe. Be smart.
Make good decisions. Anyway.
Anime, when we say that, could throw some people off.
Okay, tell me more.
In my brain, when I think of anime, I don't know, it's something that you kind of feel like you have to have a thing for, like a niche. I feel like it's a niche and not everybody is into it.
So you're saying saying it's like anime might throw people off and might make people not want to watch it.
Yes, because I am not, and I have friends that love anime, and
You're married to someone who loves anime.
yeah, Rich watches anime, and I come in and I'm like, why are you watching this? This is weird. But I love Avatar. I don't consider it to be as anime as other things.
So there are sort of different levels of anime, and we could talk for a long time probably about this. Well, I'm not saying we should, but we could. So yes, I think what you're thinking of shows like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and where there's like a spiky haired.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Right.
It's not interesting to me.
But there are more serious, more realistic anime out there. And the things you're describing, like the over the top reactions and the way that they do things, that is very anime. That's sort of.
Yes, when I think of anime though, I think of something super dramatic and serious.
Right. I'm saying you have a misconception about anime.
Oh, okay.
It's not all like that. So,
I think of it as like dark and brooding, like the people that like the DC universe are the people that like anime. Like whiny and brooding people.
no, it's not like that. It's not like that.
I'm a Marvel girl.
Well,
I need some humor.
so anyway, the point is this Avatar is very anime. It's very much inspired by and is related to anime.
Okay.
It is different from most anime though because listen, I'm like 99.7% sure that this is accurate, so I'm just going to say it like it's a fact. But if you're out there and you hear me say this and you're like, no, wrong, then please let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. This is a show that was completely developed in America for this show. So it's not based on, a lot of anime is based on manga, which is like Japanese comic book, sort of
Right.
a graphic novel style.
Right.
So a lot of anime is an adaptation of manga. This is not adaptation of manga. This is unique material.
Like American anime.
Amerime.
Ooh.
I don't think that's
That's
something.
not a thing.
That's not something we want. That's nothing.
No, that's not a thing. Get in
Anyway,
the comments.
we're getting really deep in the weeds on this one. The point
Sorry.
is, no, it's fine. The point is,
I thought this was a podcast where we talk about things.
oh, you're right.
Okay. All right, go with what you were saying.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
So this is it's a very entertaining show. It does a lot of things right. It does a lot of humor and a lot of, there's like sort of a little love story. It does get very intense. The part where we are right now is a pretty intense part of the story where there's a big confrontation between the water tribes and the fire nation. But it's interesting because it's one of those shows that is totally fine for kids. It's probably not for kids much younger than it's probably intended for kids like 7 and up so that they really understand what's going on. But Cora will sit there and watch it with us and think that Aang is funny and think that Appa and Momo are funny, the animal characters.
Yeah, just every now and again there might be a creature that's a little more intense.
Yeah, totally.
But
Like that giant
there was
eel.
Yeah, and there was a dragon that she was a little iffy about at one point in time, I think. But yeah, she'll sit and watch it with us.
The only downside of Avatar for me is not a bad downside. It's not going to keep me from watching it. Ultimately, is that you have to pay for it. I don't think you can get it included with anything. Maybe you can get it with something like if you're subscribed to something that includes Nickelodeon. Maybe you can get it there.
Yeah.
But this is also one of those things. It's like there are certain movies that I like to go ahead and let's just own it. And this is like that. Like I just want to own Avatar, and then we can watch it whenever we want.
Yeah, because like we said, this is our third time watching through it since we've been together, and we will watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
So Avatar,
We love it.
highly recommended.
Yeah, and if you have kids around that age range that Rich said, probably, what do you think? 5 to 7 and up, depending upon how your kid reacts to things. Every kid's different.
It's probably a TV Y7 show. So it's
Okay.
probably intended for kids 7 and up.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's nothing explicit. There are occasional scary creatures.
Yeah, there's no language. There's no immodesty
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's pretty wholesome, actually,
And
and has a lot of good moral value to it.
So basically, if you're pretty much anyone, there's a chance you're gonna like this show.
Yes.
Avatar,
The Last Airbender, the animated TV series on Nickelodeon.
and then after that came Avatar: The Legend of Korra, the sequel series, which
Korra with a K.
which I like, and I think you didn't like as much. We'll save that for maybe we'll take a look at that later on.
Okay, I don't think I finished it.
Deal.
Okay.
All right, it's on to the question of the day.
Question of the day.
Nice.
Thanks.
Did you listen to last week's episode?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I don't like listening to myself talk. So, you guys, I don't listen to our episodes.
All right.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Maybe when you do music, that's the music for that section now.
Oh, no. Yikes. Sorry, everybody.
The question of the day this week came out of our brains.
So sorry.
Well, lately we've been getting a lot of good feedback from people, and it's not that you're slacking out there, people in the world. It's just that we were like, hey, what's a good thing to discuss, and we decided on it ourselves.
Yeah.
And it is, what's the scariest moment in a kid's movie?
Yes.
So, in general, we've done sort of happy things, like good things.
Right.
And now we're going to talk about scary things.
Ooh.
Are you going first or am I going first?
I would like you to go first because I have a few options and I want to make sure that your choice isn't one of my options first.
Okay.
Okay.
So I chose really most of a movie because it's creepy. And it's Coraline.
Ooh, I was gonna say, I wonder if it's Coraline. Love Coraline. I'm a big fan of Coraline.
Coraline is great. We talked about this when we did a guest spot on. We talked about this on Movies That Molded Me. It hasn't aired yet. But we talked a little bit about Coraline. And first of all, just want to put this out there. We did not name Cora after the character in Coraline.
We did not.
Nor do we name her after the Legend of Korra.
We did not.
We just chose a beautiful old name for Cora. So let's get that right out of the way.
Yeah. I had Cora picked out. I had Cora Margaret, which is her name, picked out in high school. So
there you go.
There you go. Luckily, I married a man that was cool with that name.
Yep. Boy, we're taking some rabbit trails tonight. It's good. It's good. Anyway, because I started that one. Coraline. This movie's creepy, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. You should see it. It's a lot of fun, but it's a creepy movie.
Yeah.
So in the movie, this young girl, they move to the house, right? Like they move into this sort of creepy house.
Yeah.
And it's got like a little door, and there's a little door.
Little doors are creepy. My grandparents, you've been to the second floor.
Yes, it's creepy.
Yes. So any of you that know my Mima and Gramps, if you ever go to their house, go upstairs, and almost at the top of the stairs is a tiny door. I am not even remotely exaggerating when I say it is a tiny door.
Now, what it is like little crawl space attic access.
Yeah, but the inside of it, where they used to keep games, is like, I guess part of the chimney that they...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that they had, like, closed off and just used as a little storage space. But it is a door that's, what, like, 3 feet tall? 4 feet tall?
Maybe Latin. Yeah, I would say closer to 3 than 4. Probably, it's very short.
It is a creepy dang door, people.
Yeah. Because, what tiny thing could crawl out of there?
I don't even... we used to live there on that second floor, and my brother and I would sleep in that room, and it was... ugh.
Well, in Coraline, you can crawl through a door and it leads you into a mirror universe where everything's the same except everyone there just loves you so much. Mm-hmm. And they're like doll versions of people with button eyes. Mm-hmm. And so it all starts sort of whimsical. And it's like, oh, look at these funny versions of all these characters. And it turns out that what's really going on, spoilers for Coraline, y'all. What's really going on is that there's like a demon creature in there who's trying to trick people to come and live on her side of the door.
Yep.
And steals your eyes and puts in buttons.
Your eyes, puts in buttons, and then she sews up the mouth of...
Oh, yeah, of one character.
Her friend. Yeah, of Coraline's friend in the mirror
who's
universe.
Like trying to help her, who's
Yes.
trying to warn her.
Yes.
So,
I would not show this movie to Cora.
No, she would hate it.
And actually, when you and I...
We saw it as adults and we're scared.
We saw it as adults in the theater, and people had brought their children to watch this movie, and we're sitting there going, this is creepy, and these kids are sitting here just like in terror, bless them.
Now, so that all that stuff by itself is kind of creepy sounding, like the story itself is weird, but also the way the characters are animated, it's sort of that, it's not stop motion, but it's one of those things that looks like stop motion animation.
It's beautifully animated. It's a lovely movie.
It looks great, it's all, this is intentional. But some of the characters, like, are created in a weird proportion. So, like, and it makes some of them appear kind of creepy. So there's, like, the guy who lives upstairs with the super long legs, and, like, he kind of, he like bends over a lot.
I mean, it's like, if you guys know, like, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, kind of like that.
It's like that, yeah.
And then there's, like, the twin old ladies where, like, one of them's got, like, a giant butt and one of them's got, like, a giant...
Bosom.
Thank you. I was looking for the right word.
Yeah, I adore this movie, and I would watch it just myself. I would not show Cora it, though.
Yeah. It's for older kids.
Older kids, or maybe not kids.
I mean, I think it's made for kids. I do think it's made for, but it's not made for,
it's quite morbid.
Yeah.
Because there are ghost children in it.
There are.
That are living behind a mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. You're right. Yes. Scary for a kid's movie.
And it's hard for me to pick a single scene because there's several moments in this movie that are creepy for kids. And
like I said, I love it. I have watched it several times, and one of my favorite things is the mirror image dad singing Making Up a Song About Coraline. Yeah. And every now and again I'll sing that to Cora. She doesn't know what it's from, though. No. So that's my pick. Oh, good, very good pick. Most of the movie Coraline. Yes, very good pick. My pick is all of the dismembered toys that Sid has taken apart in Toy Story. Yep. And I actually pulled up a screenshot image of some of the things that he's made. There's a head on a little rolly thing. There's a baby doll's head that's missing an eye on like this claw machine thing. You guys know all of this. There's the strongman arms with no head. There's the Barbie legs with just a fishing hook at the top of it. There's the little car that has like baby arms attached to it. Oh, and another strongman arm with a duck head on it. They just kind of drag themselves out of the bottom of his bed. I've always thought that was like so creepy.
For sure.
That baby doll head. Yeah. We don't have to talk a whole lot about that, but I do have some honorable mentions.
Oh, great.
The child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Ooh, yeah.
He is creep-tastic. Hi, babe. Yeah, they made him the odd proportion thing too, where his nose is really huge and pointed, and I feel like his fingers or fingernails are like really long.
Yeah.
And he's like stroking things and like, yeah. And then also another honorable mention is the Wet Bandits in Home Alone. Because when they catch Kevin in that house, they talk about like biting his fingers off. Is it? Yeah. And like Cora just walked into the room, so I'm trying not to be too graphic with my words. But they threaten him.
Yeah.
And with bodily harm. And I feel like that is a scary moment for a kid. Parent break.
Yep. Hey, Cora. Come here, babe. Where'd she go? Cora.
She's behind you. She's hiding behind you.
Come here. You were talking about the guy from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, and then I said the Home Alone Wet Bandits.
Oh, that's right. The Wet Bandits. And that they were hurting the guy. They were threatening harm.
Kevin. Yeah, I just think that's creepy. So, there. Those are my picks.
Good picks.
Yeah.
We like all these movies. So this isn't sometimes we recommend that people avoid things, and this isn't that. This is us saying, these are all good things. I think these are all things that we would watch on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But just know, there's a little creep in them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, before we get to the next portion of our show, it's time for a promotion.
Bum ba da bum. Here's a promotion.
Everyone, no matter how big a geek you are, has movies that they haven't seen that have other geeks saying, "How have you never seen this movie?" Well, we're here to help. At the Now You've Seen It podcast, we help you fill those gaps in your geek cred one movie at a time. Each episode, a guest who is watching the movie for the first time joins our rotating cast of hosts and panelists to discuss the movie and compare seeing it through fresh eyes versus seeing it with eyes filtered through the lens of nostalgia. You can find Now You've Seen It on Facebook at facebook.com/Now You've Seen It, no apostrophe, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back.
And we're back.
I love that. I love that that's a reference we get to continue to make. Right?
We will continue to make it. I don't care how tired all of you get.
Some of you went, wait, they're referencing something?
Yeah.
And we are. If you don't know what it is, well, you know what? Too bad.
Okay. So we're going to keep that just a secret.
That's just for us.
Okay, that's just for us.
I think we've talked about it before. What do you have this week?
I have the legend that is Carmen Sandiego.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes, exactly that. It was originally released in 1985 and then rebooted in 1996. Did you play the computer game?
Oh, yeah.
Are you we played it so hard.
So, I think I've talked about this on the show before. I work for the Barbershop Harmony Society, and I do a lot of a cappella music. And a big part of the reason that I enjoy a cappella music, I'm not joking, is Rockapella and their little jingles that they do for Carmen Sandiego. Love those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know them.
The main thing in Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, the video game or computer game that we would play as kids,
Yep.
was that we came upon a crime scene, right? If I'm remembering this correctly, it has been how many years? Let's not count.
I think you played this game. I think this game was available like in Windows DOS. Like you had to boot it into DOS.
Yes.
And that's how you were able to play the game.
So you came across a crime scene and you had to find clues to determine where Carmen Sandiego was going to go next, and then you would, from those clues, Rich has all of a sudden
My phone
gotten
is just blowing
1
up.
million texts all of a sudden.
I wonder if it's
Ding,
my family
ding.
or your family.
Guys, so as many of you know, we're in quarantine, right? And we have been keeping close touch with all of our families. Therefore, a lot of text messages have been happening.
For sure.
So you would find clues and then determine what country she was going to next.
Right.
And then you would just learn about these countries as you were going through. And it was actually highly educational for geography. Like, I feel like, because we were homeschooled people. Yes, we were homeschooled. I feel like this was almost a part of our, like, geography part of the day, was playing Where in the World was Carmen Sandiego, because we learned a lot about different countries and their cultures and their flags and the food they ate, like, all that different stuff.
Did you watch the show at all? I know you weren't
No.
TV watchers as much as kids.
No, we did not watch the show. It was just the game.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong about that, my brother can, or my mom can let me know, because I think they'll listen to this later.
The show is a lot like that. To be honest, I'm not sure if when I was a kid if I was watching reruns of the 80s version or if I was watching the new episodes of the 90s version.
So there were a lot of different spin-offs.
Yeah.
Because the video game happened first, right?
No. I'm almost positive no.
Okay.
When did the video game come out?
No, sorry. The video game, hold on.
Because I doubt it came out before 1985 or whatever you said.
No, you're right. Let me, I just had it up. I will have to relook at it.
While you're looking it up, the show that I remember watching and that I think was the way that, I don't know if what I was starting to say is I don't know if both versions of the show were like this. But the one that I saw was kind of, in a lot of ways, it was a lot like Jeopardy. Because there'd be the sleuths were there, and that was the kids who were on the game show. And they had to like get clues and then answer questions that were coming off a board. And then like you had to put together certain pieces of it, and as you went, you had to collect, what was it, the warrant and another thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, I'm right with my dates. It is the mystery video game that was released in 1985 and then rebooted in 1996.
Oh, I thought you said the show came out in 85 and was rebooted in 96.
No, sorry. I'm talking about the game that we played.
Okay, do you know when the show came out?
I will look at that right now.
Okay.
Boo-ba-doo-boo-boo.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She goes from Nashville to Norway, Bali to Zimbabwe, Chicago to Czechoslovakia.
Are you allowed to sing all of that?
We're going to find out.
See, I'm seeing TV series, but it's only coming up as the... Oh, hold on. So I was going to talk about when Netflix released it in 2019.
Sure.
So I didn't do a deepish dive on this.
How unlike you.
Well, listen. I'm getting there. Hold on. The video game was in 1985. Taught geography. Okay, in the 1990s, it extended to 3 television shows.
Okay.
So, we're going to say the 90s because I can't read and talk at the same time.
Fair enough.
But, yes. So, now I got to get back to what I was thinking. Okay, so 1990s was the show. I originally was talking about the video game.
Okay.
And 1990s came out, the show. No, we did not watch that. We only ever really played the video game. But now, there is a new Carmen Sandiego out, and it came out at the beginning of 2019. And this is a show.
Yes.
This is a Carmen Sandiego TV show on Netflix. Came out at the beginning of 2019, and a second season came out at the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Carmen Sandiego is voiced by Gina Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think she does a great job. But what I was mainly going to talk about this evening is what we did do with Cora, which is the Carmen Sandiego To Steal or Not to Steal interactive series. Or it's just one episode.
Yeah.
It's one episode on Netflix that is interactive. And you know how, like, Bear Grylls came out with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that one time.
We did that too, yeah. Where you get to choose what they do, and it could be good, it could be bad, it could lead to...
Black Mirror did that too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They had an episode where you choose the outcome.
Oh, okay. So this is an animated version of that, and Cora really enjoyed being able to pick which thing she wanted to do. Every now and again, I'd steer her in a particular direction because I knew from a previous go-through that wasn't going to work, what she just picked. So, something that we didn't... I don't remember much about the video game was the 2 factions. Do you remember Acme and Vile?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that knows me knows that I have... Sorry, that was my foot.
Oh.
Knows that I have no memory of my childhood. And that's just because I have no memory. But Acme is the good people,
yep.
and Vile are the bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmen Sandiego was raised as a Vile operative from a young age, and then she decided, no, that's not for me, and then she joined Acme, and basically steals things from Vile for Acme. So she's a thief. Her big thing is a thief.
Yeah, and this is sort of a thing that is like a, and maybe I'm not, I don't remember every single detail about that show that I watched when I was 7 either, but I feel like that's something that they've changed a lot. Like, she was always a thief,
Yes.
But the idea that she's like a noble thief is kind of new.
It's almost like a Robin Hood type thing.
Because back in the day, it was she goes all over the world robbing people, and we got to stop her.
Yes.
Like she was the villain. She wasn't like hurting people. But
yeah, that's my point. When we were playing that video game, we were trying to find her to capture her in the video game. Now, at least in this newer rendition of Carmen Sandiego, she is more of a Robin Hood-esque type person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what ACME stands for? ACME.
I'm very familiar with Acme. I didn't know it stood for something.
Is the agency to classify and monitor evildoers.
Oh. I always just assumed it was like everything in every cartoon was always an Acme thing. Like,
I don't know, like, when you're talking about Roadrunner and they do, like, the Acme thing, I don't know if that's the same thing or not.
Well, ooh, interesting. Like,
yeah, we should look into that. We'll look into that. And then
there's
Vile,
a cross-universe thing where it's like Acme is all these things.
Yeah. Vile is also an acronym. A VILE is Villains International League of Evil. But their cover, because they don't want everybody to know that, their cover is Valuable Imports, Lavish Exports.
That's really something.
Yes. It is.
Why do I gotta wonder? I know. Listen, y'all. I know it's for kids. The ultimate answer is it's not for me. It's for kids. But that's not what the show is. Why are bad guys always naming their organization something like that? Villains. What was it?
Villains International League of Evil.
The Villains International League of Evil. Like, you got villains right there in the name, but let's really drive the point home. We're a League of Evil.
I wish I could remember the Get Smart bad people at the moment, because they're like Vile or something like that. They're something similar to that.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Just the last things I wanted to mention, the 2019 show that came out on Netflix won a Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Animation, was nominated for Outstanding Children's Program, and then in 2020, it won an Annie Award for Best Character Design in Media and TV, and was nominated for the Best Music in Media and TV.
That's awesome.
Oh, sorry. Second column. My bad. Nominated also for Best Production Design in TV and Media, and won Best Storyboarding in TV and Media.
Well, look at them.
And those were the Annie Awards in 2020, and that first one, the Emmy thing, was in 2019.
Good for you, Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, so, we really enjoyed doing the interactive thing, and Cora was really into it as well. So, younger kids probably wouldn't be as into it, because they don't know probably the difference between the two things. And Cora just barely, I feel like, is at that age to really appreciate it. Because every time we picked something, she would say, "Was that the right answer?"
Right.
And then she'd have to watch to see if it turned out in our favor or not.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I haven't watched the main show at all, and I've seen that it's there, and I keep being interested. I've just never clicked into it. So
It's a good lesson on cause and effect. The interactive episode is a really good cause and effect lesson for those of you that needs some sort of lesson planning while we're all stuck at home, let's talk about cause and effect and play Carmen Sandiego interactive episode on Netflix.
So that is our show for this week. Thank you to all of you listeners out there in the world. We know that this is still a troubled and unsure time, so we thank you for spending some of your minutes with us. And if you want to interact with us further, you can do that online. Best place to find us is Twitter at Not For Adults Cast. That's NOT, the number 4 Adults Cast. You can use that same moniker pretty much everywhere. So Twitter.
We also do Facebook, and I'm trying to be better about doing Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that.
So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We technically have a YouTube channel.
Do we really?
Technically we do, but all you're going to find there is like uploads of our episodes. So,
okay.
We're everywhere. You can find us if you want to. If you really try and you really believe, you will find us.
Grab you some fairy dust and just believe.
Just believe.
And we'll come to you.
And then we'll appear. Like Beetlejuice.
And then you can fly. You can fly. I was going a Peter Pan route.
Oh. Well, yeah, until we said we'd appear, and then that turned into Beetlejuice for me.
Oh, I don't know anything about Beetlejuice.
So, when you're at home, you might be flipping through, you might be looking for something a little bit on the creepier side. Who knows? It's not the right time of year for it, but who says you have to only watch creepy stuff at Halloween? Am I right?
You're right.
So maybe you are. This is you doing you. And you know what? That's fine. You don't have to let your kid watch because you're the boss.
So watch whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.